So one of the main things holding footballers back is actually their knee strength. Obviously this can lead from ankle issues, hip issues, and it's usually a combination of all of them. But the most common issue I see holding football players back are either tight hips or weak knees. So today I'm going to show you how to build stronger knees, which can stop you from being held back on the football pitch. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Liam Howe, Bulletproof Baller on Instagram. I snapped my kneecap in half when I was 16, when I was trying to go pro in football. Then from there I had a surgery and also 4 different physios, and they couldn't fix my chronic knee pain. I had chronic knee pain for 5 years and I couldn't play football. Then after that, in 2020, I found Knees Over Toes Guy, and I've been using ATG principles to be able to fix my knees and get back to sport. And the funny thing is, from just trying to fix my knees, I went from the slowest player on my team to the fastest. So today I'm going to show you the knowledge I wish I had, which would have stopped those knee issues from happening and stopped me being restricted on the pitch, stopped me from going pro. So there's going to be 3 different things I'm going to cover in this video today. Obviously there is a lot of principles that I'm going to cover over the coming weeks, over the years that I am filming these videos, but today these are going to be the main ones which I personally dealt with and I see countless other football players telling me about. So the first one is we're always in these high positions in soccer. We're cutting. We're using this position where our knee goes slightly over our toe. We're in like a short range kind of motion and we're cutting, even like planting our leg. So when we go to kick the ball, we're coming into this position with our knee. So how do we actually build the strong knees capable of like handling these positions? Because we have to cut all the time. We have to plant our knees. And I was having this exact issue when I was trying to come back from sport. It was usually my ACL that was clicking into place every time I tried to cut, every time like I'd extend my leg in this kind of position. And I actually watched ATG Science video, and he was showing how the ACL, there's research that's come out that shows the ACL is under peak tension in this kind of range. So if it's constantly getting overloaded during these positions, we need to actually build it stronger so that it doesn't hurt. So the first exercise I want to show you is the Poliquin step up. This mimics that exact position. We're getting stronger in this range where the ACL is under peak tension. It's also a joint dominant movement, so it's actually strengthening that knee in this short range, which we are using all the time. And the kind of standard I want to see people work up to over time is 6 inches with about 50% of body weight on the bar, or 25% of dumbbells in each hand. This exercise is good for your patellar tendon, ACL, all the connective tissue actually within the knee. Obviously it strengthens your quad at the same time, but there's no point on like a leg extension where we're just strengthening our quad, strengthening our quad, strengthening our quad, and our knee is not actually getting stronger. When it's a joint dominant exercise like this, our connective tissue gets stronger first. Like the weakest link is going to be our connective tissue is if our knee is hurting us. And like I said, the standard is 6 inch with 50% of the body weight. But most people are going to even struggle on like a 2 inch step up with the heel elevated. But I've seen people come in because they haven't been training their knees directly, even struggle on like a 2 inch step up. There's loads of shaking going on. They can't really handle it because they're actually strengthening the internals of the knee. And like their quads are massive. Like they've been doing their leg extensions and stuff like that, but they're still getting this pain in their tendon, in their ACL, all this kind of stuff because they can't handle exercise like this. So the form points on this, what we want to do is probably start on about a 2-3 inch elevation. If that feels good, we can then progress after that, but we don't want to go too far. We don't want to work through any pain whatsoever on this exercise. Like I say, main form points, our torso staying completely vertical, so our knee is actually getting loaded and that quad's getting loaded. Our hips aren't dropping either side because that shows our knee can't handle that weight. Even the slightest bit of forward lean is going to put this more on our hips, more on our glutes than our knee and our quad. And if you even struggle with this kind of height, you can use assistance, you can use floss bands, you can even go to flat ground. But over time, we kind of want to work up the heights. The best route I've really seen is to go 2 inches, then 4 inches, and then maybe even load before you go up in height, because each time you go up in height, that's so much more stress going on your tendon, on your ACL, but each time that you load a little bit more, you can kind of increase that a little bit slower. Like it's a bigger jump to go up in height than it is to increase load a little bit. So you can play around with increasing load, you can play around with increasing height, whatever feels best for your knee. But you want to do kind of high reps on this. Make sure that if you do have a weaker side, so like my left knee was injured and I had pain in it for ages, my quad was destroyed, quad was tiny, probably get pictures up here, but I would add in an extra set on this weaker side. So I would start on the left and then finish on the left as well. That's going to help to just balance out either side. The first exercise is the Poliquin step up, and you want to take this to extreme levels over time. You don't want to work through any pain and you just want to go up slowly. But this is actually going to be working your connective tissue. So you've got to think about how the joint actually feels rather than the muscle. You want to go for like a pain-free muscle burn rather than, like obviously your joint's going to feel it, but you don't want any pain to be in your joint because you're going to have to regress in the future because it is that joint dominant movement. If we've got pain, it kind of shows us that we're breaking down the tissue too much for it to recover from. So if you've got pain like here, I would go lower on the height and then just work 50, 100 reps on that. Once you build a bit of strength, and you're starting to up the height and weight a little bit, you'd go for lower reps, maybe around, to be honest, I like 15 to 30 reps each leg as like a gauge, 3, 4, 5 sets. And something else with the step up is that you'll be able to go higher and higher as you warm up more. So even now, like I start at like 2 inch, then I go 4 inch, and I go 6 inch, and then personally for me, I add up to 100% of my body weight on the bar because I've been doing it forever. But I've seen people, like, they can't really do a step up on 2 inches when they first start doing it. So we get them to do it on flat ground, and then they go to 2 inches, and the 2 inches are feeling good, and then they go to 4 inches. So you want to kind of warm up the knee first when you're doing the step up. Okay, then we're going to go through 2 more exercises today. I don't want to make this video really, really long. I'm just going to try and give you some stuff to go away and work on straight away. So a lot of people I see in the gym are doing box squats. They can't get this full range of motion in their squats. They come into this range, but we're working this range in football. We're constantly up here. We're never down here. So in the gym, we need to work these ranges. Otherwise our connective tissue, our muscles are going to be all worked in the shortened range and never actually get strengthened in this longer range. So they're going to break down. So we want to use an ATG squat. But if this causes pain, we can use an ATG split squat to kind of regress, and I'll show you what that looks like. But on the ATG squat, the 2 restrictions which I see which limit people from getting all the way down on the range of motion is ankle mobility and hip mobility. So for the ankle mobility, what we can kind of do to shortcut it is raise our heel with something, whether it be a plate, whether it be ATG buddies, whether it be slant board, but this can then help us get down into this deeper position without our ankle mobility limiting us. And then if our hips are really stiff, if we've got poor hip mobility, something that we can do is use like a seated good morning to be able to get rid of that tightness in the hips and actually get our squat mobility better. But that's something that you want to work on over time. To shortcut it, you can use ATG buddies, and even still, I still use the ATG buddies to this day. Even though I can squat arse to grass with flat feet, just because you get more range. The other thing is, the higher up we go on the slant, and the more our knees are over our toe, and the more our torso is vertical, and we're closing this joint as much as possible, putting pressure actually within the knee joint. Even if you look at an ATG split squat, the more I can get the hamstring to cover the calf, the more that connective tissue is going to be lengthened, like the patellar tendon and the quad tendon are going to be lengthened, but also the connective tissue are going to be compressed, like the meniscus, the ACL and stuff like that. So we're actually going to build stronger connective tissue by going through this full range. So you can see how, like, if we're constantly playing up at these and we're never strengthening for a full range of motion, that's going to lead to knee pain, it's going to lead to knee issues. It depends what kind of squat you do. You can either do like an ATG squat, where it's a little more, it's obviously getting the full range of motion, so you're still strengthening the knees, but you're still getting more hips. Or you can go for more of a VMO squat with like a slant board, or even a hack squat with your toes up. And this is going to be more knee dominant, more quad dominant, but we're really controlling this end range, building elite strength within our knees. Standard that I want to see for if you were doing a normal arse to grass squat, it's going to be at the very minimum 100% of our body weight on bar, completely controlled, 5-10 reps. But I want to see you push into like 1.5 times body weight on the bar. And the final exercise that I want to talk about is knee flexion. So my ACL was a massive, massive issue for me, and I actually chose to go without surgery. It was clicking into place, it was causing me all kinds of pain. And the 2 exercises which really, really helped bolster this was obviously the step up, which I went through earlier, which is directly strengthening the ACL, then also the Nordic curl, because it's building stronger hamstrings, and the hamstrings kind of act as like a protection for your ACL. The stronger your hamstrings are in knee flexion and hip extension, the more protected your ACL is going to be. And something else about knee health is relative strength. So if we can get relatively strong within our knees compared to our body weight, then that's going to be so much better for us. Our knees are going to feel so much healthier. So like the Nordic curl is an actual test of how well our back of the knee, our ACL, our tendons in the back of the knee, our hamstrings can actually handle our body weight. We can see how strong we are there. And the goal isn't even to, eventually the goal, if you want to get to elite standards and get to elite speed, is going to be those kind of reps like the Marty St. Louis reps, Nordics over time. But you can start, like I started bending my hips loads, just coming down a slight bit. I could barely move at all because my hamstrings were so weak. I was all kind of jacked up behind the knee. This also helps when you go into stuff like kicking. People would always say like, yeah, you need to get your quad stronger for kicking, and it is a lot of knee extension. But the stronger your brakes are, the more you're going to be the harder you're going to be able to kick, because you can then decelerate through the end. It also has that lengthening component. So the stronger we are in this position, the further we can get our legs straight out for that extension, the harder our kick's going to be, and the better we can slow down. even for like decelerating on the pitch, we're cutting a load. Like we're using our hamstrings so much to be able to cut, to be able to decelerate. Like we want to build stronger brakes so that we can go faster forward. Everyone focuses on power, on speed, all this kind of stuff, but we want to build the opposite so that we can not get injured, but still have that kind of top end speed. On the Nordic curl, we work from, obviously if you have a bench like this, you can bring this up and kind of work at the range you can. The eventual goal is going to be 5 reps eccentric Nordics for 5 to 10 seconds on the way down and controlling it that entire way, like not dropping it at all. And that's just it. And then you can push yourself back up and then do the eccentric again. Obviously, if you can't do that to start with, hips bent, we can even use assistance. We can use boxes in front of us to kind of limit the range of motion. But those are the 3 exercises that I wanted to go through today. So the cutting and stuff is going to be really helped, especially if you have ACL issues. It's going to be strengthening the ACLs with the step ups directly, because you're getting in this range of motion all the time. You're cutting, you're kicking. This position needs to be really strong. So if we get really strong in a step up, if we can handle 100% of our body weight on a step up like this, like our body weight can be handled easy when we go into the cutting, because it's going to be our body weight's going to be so light compared to what we can actually do on the step up. So 1 is the step up, 2nd is the deep range of motion stuff, whether this be a squat, a split squat, but we want to use the full range of motion. For the AC split squat, it looks like full covering calf. On the squats, we want to, again, the more our torso is vertical, the further our knees are forward, the more joint dominant this is going to be, building stronger connective tissue, more robust connective tissue. And those 2 are for the front of the knee and internals of the knee. And then for the back of the knee, we want to build Nordic curls. If you don't have Nordic curls, you can use a lying leg curl. It's different because obviously the lying leg curl is more short range. It's also more muscle dominant, whereas this is more long range, especially when you get to the end. Like when you're down the bottom, this is so hard to control and you'll feel your hamstrings just light up in that bottom position. So yeah, you can start with hamstring curls, you get super strong in those over time. You can then progress to the Nordic. But yeah, I hope this video really helps you. It would have helped me massively when I had those knee issues trying to get back into the sport. But yeah, this is how to prevent kind of knee pain, knee issues and stuff like that. In all of these, we want to work for a pain-free range of motion. We don't want to push ourselves to the point of flaring up anything, having anything worse, but it's just strengthening those knees over time. And this is in combination with your sport. Obviously, if you just do these and you don't play any sport and then you rush back into your sport, you're still going to get injured. So you need to build that up in the same way you would build up your lifts in the gym. But this plus your sport, even in season, you want to be lifting in season. It's going to be less volume, maybe less leg days, but you still want to be lifting. You want to be doing the mobility, because otherwise you're going to get tight, you're going to get weak, you're going to cause an injury. So yeah, I hope this helps you. If it does, leave a like, comment down below, and this helps. If you want to see any other kind of videos, if you want me to explain some of these exercises in more depth, again, leave a comment just asking, and I'll be able to record some videos for you. I also do one-on-one coaching if anyone is coming back from knee injuries, or they just want to get better at performance of sport, and that will be the top link in the description. We have 2 different offers, one for more exclusive like one-on-one coaching and one for more programming and stuff like that. So it's your choice on that. Just click the link down below and book in the call with me.